Hello and welcome to episode 33 of the About to Break podcast. I'm currently in Denton, Texas. I've been here for a few days, man. This is about a 10-day trip. I've been to Pennsylvania and a bunch of places. And now I'm in Texas, but I'm getting ready to head to Reno. My family is with the in-laws. I don't know, I'm giving you all this info. I don't know if this is fun or not, but it's what's going on, folks. And then I head home, and in the first week of August, I start a run at the Magic Castle with my buddy James Holguin. I've known James since we were just little kids. Growing up at the Magic Castle, we weren't old enough to go in there at night because it's a 21 and over club, but they were cool enough to let us be part of what's called the junior program. So it's kind of fun because this week at the castle is the Future Stars week where they let all the young magicians perform. And then next week, James and I are performing and we're doing a little throwback to our time as juniors. So if you're around the castle, come check that out. It's going to be really, really fun. Go to Tulsa, Oklahoma after that. Then a one-nighter in Vegas. And then on August 13th, we got our next Jokers and Aces show. You're going to want to make sure you check that out. We've got so many fun acts lined up, and this show has become my new favorite thing to look forward to every month at Nerd Melt. So come on out, check it out. Tickets available for that at abouttobreakpodcast.com or at taylorhughes.com/live. You can go there and get info on all the upcoming shows. The gentleman that's on the podcast this week, I just recently met, and this is the kind of guy you just want to hang around with. Adam Grabowski is rarely at home. He's only been in LA for a year, and during that time, he's probably been home maybe 27 days, something like that. The guy does 150 dates a year on the road, performing in colleges, and we talk all about that on the podcast this week. We also talk about his experience with America's Got Talent. It's kind of unique. Kind of got a bad deal with them. Went on, killed. They absolutely loved it. Standing ovation from all four of the judges, and then in the second round, they kind of edited it to make him look not so great. And unfortunately, not the first of my friends to have that happen. So we talk about that on the podcast, and I think this is really rad. We didn't get to mention this because this happened the night we recorded. He does a show every month called the Grab Bag Show at Westside Comedy Theater in Santa Monica, and I performed on that show with him this last month. And right after we talked on the podcast about his experience with AGT and how rough it had been and how he's kind of been working through it, in the door walks Howie Mandel, and he asks if he can perform on Adam's show. And Adam was gracious enough to let him jump on the show, and it was a really fun exchange between the two of them. Just one of those unique moments, man, that you had to be there for, but I'm excited you get to be here for this, my About to Break conversation with comedian Adam Grabowski. Enjoy it, guys.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Something is about to break.
This week I'm sitting down with comedian Adam Grabowski. Thanks for being on the show, man. You okay there?
Wouldn't it be fun if they just thought you had no one here?
I know.
It was like, you said you're going to record a better intro later.
Right, I know.
No one's going to ever hear that joke.
They're not going to
They're going to
hear
record a better intro, like you said.
I will leave it in.
You leave it in?
I'll leave it in.
If you guys didn't know, I paused and stared at him.
And it was a
speaking.
serious stare,
Yeah.
man. There was some good acting skills.
You're on my turf, too.
I
You're
am,
in my
man.
apartment.
We're in your apartment. This is a nice apartment.
It is clean.
It is clean.
It is clean.
A lot of
Two
people,
comedians and it's clean.
Man, people who don't know LA don't understand the apartment dynamic of Los Angeles.
We not only had to give our... I just straight up showed them my bank account. And no, we had to do that. And then
Because-
we showed tax returns and we had to...
Yeah.
So our president doesn't have... But in order to get a 2-bedroom in Hollywood, we had to do that. That sounded so like a bit, but it isn't.
No. Well, as
that
an
is a genuine...
As an entertainer.
Yeah, I'm going to sound like it's bits half the time, but it's
Right.
not.
This
But that's
is
just
just
how...
real
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
But that was real. And then he even had to show his savings account, like his IRA that he had from his other job.
It's crazy.
It was. And, like, they came back at us with more, and we applied to 2 places, and this is the one that we got. But it's
Just
nice.
because there's that many people wanting space.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
This one got completely renovated. The people that used to live here,
Yeah.
it was a family of, like, this is what I heard. It was like
Okay.
10 people living here.
In this one apartment.
In this one apartment.
2-bedroom.
Yeah.
What do we got? 2-bedroom, 2 bath.
2 bath.
Okay.
But the thing about it is, I think it was just people that it started as one family, and then all the relatives came.
Yeah.
And they eventually got evicted, and over the years they just renovated over the last couple of years they renovated every.
Just as people move out, they kind of upgrade. Okay.
Yeah, like we just got new neighbors downstairs and they upgraded that unit. It's only 8 units in the whole place.
Yeah.
But it's really nice. So having upgraded it, that means everything in here is new.
Yeah.
And me and my roommate don't have anything on the walls. We have a nice TV. We have a couch, one table.
Yeah.
That's bar height. Anyway, in my bedroom, I don't even have like a dresser or a nightstand or anything, but I have a luggage rack. So I use my suitcase.
It's great, man. And literally, I walked through there, got the little tour, and had the 2 suitcases ready to roll. It's like...
No, yeah, I never fully unpack.
Why? Why? It doesn't make sense.
I know.
My wife... So I have a wife.
You can't say it like that. Just
my wife.
No. Nope.
So my wife.
There you
go. She always... Because I have my toiletry bag, and she's always like, put this away. Like, when you come... I'm like, honey, like, I'm going to leave in like 3 days.
Yeah.
Like,
mine's on a hook.
And you have a hook.
So I have a little hook on the toiletry bag, so I hang it up on the towel rack.
Have you become very methodical with your...
I know where my stuff is.
See?
I know where the things go in my suitcase. But the thing about it is it's still like a little jumbled and messy. Like my car's still full of stuff, but I know where the stuff is.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's shoe pile, but I know that's where shoe pile goes.
Yeah.
Shoe pile might not be organized.
Do you...
I didn't name it till today, but now it's officially shoe pile.
It's official shoe pile. Do you travel with your car often, though, or is a lot of it flying?
You know, it's flying now, but when I was...
Driving a Chevy Cruze?
I'm from Chicago, so when I tour, a lot of college touring is Midwest, East Coast, Northeast. So I brought my car out last year for 3 months, and I was on the road for like 3 months straight. But now that my car's out here, no, because like you can't travel the West like that. It's too big and open.
It is, man. It's crazy. I always forget because I'm born and raised out this way. And every time I'm back east, I'm like, oh look, I'm
it's
here,
amazing.
But I'm like an hour away from 7 states.
I was in Rhode Island and I did a show at Roger Williams University, and we're going to get like they asked about a restaurant. I'm like, yeah, that sounds. We can go there. And they're like, but it's all the way across the state. And I was like, oh no, that was really the phrase they used, across the state.
Across the state.
You know how you say like across LA?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, it was across the state.
Well, California.
27 minutes.
Oh my gosh, dude. I mean, California, it's like 12 hours from San Diego to the border of Oregon.
Yeah.
Which is just nuts.
Depending on traffic.
That's like a good time.
I drove back from Vegas once to LA because I took a trip out when I first moved out because I'm like, we could drive to Vegas. I got stuck in traffic on the way back.
Oh, dude.
Desert traffic. Because everyone leaves on a Sunday.
It's the devil, man.
Wait, what is this podcast about?
About to break, man. Ups and downs.
You're just saying the podcast is about to break? It's going to get it. It's going to get there.
It's like you're this close to a breakthrough, this close to like a mental breakdown. At least that's my experience in entertainment.
You're usually having both.
Right.
Honestly, when you see the people on Hollywood Boulevard, it's kind of like... It's confusing for a lot of people if they don't have balance. Right. Because some of the actions that people do that are famous or to get famous, if you were to do yourself, make you look either... like you have mental health issues or that you are unstable or not trustworthy. So it's kind of like overconfident rappers that talk about the ridiculous shit that they buy or spend their money on. If you do that without having a career like that, then you blow all your money, or you're not responsible about things, and then you don't maybe have the right support system. So yeah, or legal help if you do crazy shit that people joke rap about.
Oh, totally, man.
I like rap that doesn't always advocate for like violence.
That's good.
I still like a lot of it, but it's just like blatantly like talking about shooting people. I'm just like, you didn't do that. You are famous. Like you have 19
you have to be
people.
Famous to
you have a lot of people come with you places. If anything, they might do it. But like you have a lawyer, you have a record label that'd be mad at you.
Yeah. Guys that aren't famous though, that have an entourage, I don't understand how they're swinging that, man.
That's fun though. That's just friends.
Yeah,
I want
that's
that.
Cool.
I'm very much a loner with what I do.
Yeah. Well, that's life on the road, man. It's like.
Yeah, but like there's no openers or anything. It's just me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of your stuff you're doing now. You do a lot of event entertainment as well, right? Like you're doing college shows. Mm-hmm. So that's a little different than doing like clubs where you're performing with other comics.
Yeah,
so you roll into town, you are the show.
August 17th, I'll start my 50 college tour for fall, and I'm gonna start
50 dates.
Yeah, for fall, and then I'm gonna go to University of Georgia to start out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show up at University of Georgia on August 17th. They're gonna have a venue for me, probably in their student union, probably like their theater in there, or wherever they set up a stage.
Right.
And I don't know how many people will be there. I don't know how well they advertise it. I'll have to figure that out when I get there. A lot of the times they don't know how to work the lights or the sound check. It all depends on which. Totally. Yeah. The beginning of the semester though is the best because everybody's new there, so they all want to like go to events and they don't have. They're excited, but they don't have homework yet.
Right. That's
so
true.
like when you get to like August, like when you get to late October, like midterms, there's a bit of a lull in shows, but like August, September, you know, I can get 400 people at a show.
Yeah.
And they're all sober. And then, so there's a different dynamic. And then when you're at a club, it's all couples. It's all couples drinking. And then, so I have single people that are sober versus couples drinking. So what you talk about is so vastly different. Like, you know, I talk a bit more about, I have talked about long-term relationships more, but, you know, people that are 20, if they've had a long-term relationship, it's not the same as like you were telling me about you and your wife.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So, but I do the jokes as if they are the highest level of intelligence. So I don't like dumb things down for people. So I make sure I explain everything, but I don't.
Yeah. So do you have like when you're writing a joke, do you have someone in mind that you're like, this is who I'm writing for? Like I'm writing for a young professional or
At this point, since I've done it so long, I do what I think is funny and what I think would work. So I do know my audience, and it's kind of in my head.
Yeah.
But also, I have like the temperature gauge where it's like, hey, is this something that people would find acceptable or correct? Actually, no, I'm done writing jokes. I don't really write bits or jokes. It's like, what is the thing that bothers me, or what is the thing I've noticed? And then that's what I do. And then it becomes, So like, what do I want to tell you guys about, or what is the thing that happened?
Yeah.
That's what it is now. Yeah. Or, right, I'll do a bit, it's called the Jedi mind trick of apology, and I joke about how one of the superpowers that women have is the ability to apologize, but then make me feel like I owe them an apology. And then I'll get an audience member, and what we'll do is, you can check this out online.
Yeah.
But I'll get an audience member, and I'll even do it to you. Let's see if it works.
Okay,
This is a lot of my show. It's interactive. So
right.
I'll be like, hey, I just need a male volunteer. What is your name?
Taylor.
Hi, Taylor. Okay. All right. I'm going to be your girlfriend.
Okay.
And I owe you an apology. I did something wrong. All right?
What did you do?
It doesn't matter what I did.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you an apology. Ready?
Okay.
So, Taylor.
Yeah?
I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm
what?
sorry that my emotions are such an inconvenience for you. Like, I'm sorry that... Don't you laugh at me right now, Taylor, unless you want to lose all the privileges, okay? I'm sorry that I actually care about this relationship, Taylor, and that I give it 110%. And you know what? Sometimes that extra 10%, do you get this? It means that I go over the top, but that's just called love, Taylor. Okay, I'm sorry that I love you. Don't you laugh at me right now. What do you have to say? Excuse me.
Yes.
What do you have to say for yourself, mister?
I don't know what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were talking about where we're going to go tonight. And
Whose fault is that?
It must be my fault.
Okay, so is that all you have to say?
Yes.
We can wait here all day, Taylor.
I freaking love it, dude.
No, it's okay. I mean, I know you love sleeping on the couch, so just keep this going.
I wish that people were listening. Who were listening? I just wish people were listening. But I wish.
If you're an audience, everyone always eventually apologizes. I will hold the audience hostage,
dude.
And other people will be like, apologize. You'll be like, no, I don't owe one. Usually, some guys give it up right away. They'll be like, sorry.
Yeah, like me. I'm just like, I don't want.
Yeah.
This comes back. My family, as a child, like so much conflict between. I mean, my parents are divorced, and then my mom and my sister were like this. That I'm always like the people pleaser. Like I'm always like, okay, yes, absolutely, whatever.
Yeah, his reaction to me getting angry at him was to laugh, lean back, and kind of get nervous.
Yeah, very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think a guy almost cried when I did that. Yeah, for real, because I kept like laying into him a little bit, but it was a hypothetical situation. Like I'm not his actual girlfriend.
Like, bro, he's like, holy crap.
But then it was so fun.
At me.
It was so fun because I didn't want him to get so upset, and I was like, yo, bro, that's actually the best reaction.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
If a woman's upset and you show that you care so much that you're crying with her, like, that's the smartest thing you could do.
Oh, my gosh,
but,
man.
Okay.
So you do this on the regular in your show, like, very interactive.
Yeah. And then, so you would eventually say sorry because I would make you do it. But, but also, Taylor's a little older than my audience. The young men give it up real quick. The
young bucks.
Yeah. But here's another thing that happened. I like to be progressive in what I do, and this is in the bit too, but I tried that joke with a female audience member. I'm like, I could do that. Like, women date women, and they might use a Jedi mind trick on some of their dating. So I did the same thing, and I said the whole stuff, like, I'm sorry that I give 110%. Like, like, that just means I love you. Sorry that I love you. And then I fake cry, and I'm like, what do you have to say for yourself? And then she goes, thank you. And I was like, what? And she's like, thank you for your apology. And I was like, can't you see that I'm upset? And then she goes, are you accusing me of not being able to tell that I'm upset?
She did it to you.
Yeah. And you know what I said? I'm like, no, I'm sorry. And I was like, shit. She actually got me to say I'm sorry.
Double
in my own,
Jedi'd
I know.
you.
So, like,
Even when you knew, like...
yeah, progressive Adam's like, listen, gender doesn't dictate how we behave, but also sometimes there are things like that. Like, that's a superpower that men don't possess.
That's
in some
wild,
ways.
man.
But it's a lot of interaction that way.
Well, in doing colleges, you're like, you have to address stuff as it comes up, right? Like, I mean, I do a lot of corporate entertainment, which is a whole other thing.
When you do corporate shows, this is what you do. First off, no, this is fun.
This is gonna be great.
You nickname the CEO.
Yes.
So you establish dominance. So like Larry, I called him Lair Bear. Okay, this is in Indiana.
They just lose their mind.
Yeah, and then I figure out where HR is, which is usually like 2-3 people.
Yep.
And they're usually very nice.
Yep.
Or they're the one that hired you. And with the HR person, I remind them that they're Denzel Washington in Training Day. Like, they are the police.
Yeah.
Like, who if you are in HR,
right,
who are people going to report you to?
Right.
You should be running around slapping asses and be like, what you going to do about it? Like, I just keep thinking of him telling Ethan Hawke, like, you smoked this. Like,
yeah, like, oh,
like
okay.
I didn't know you like to get wet. Like, you know. And then I'll be like, King Kong ain't got shit on Jerry. And I'll say that, and then from there, you usually got him, but it depends.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But corporate, they're not like, it's a power structure, so people don't want to laugh because there's a sign of weakness. And that's not a good environment for that.
It's a weird, man. Usually it's like at the end of a trade show or like at some convention. And it's like the first night. So it's that awkward night of like, there's an open bar, but I'm sitting next to my boss, so I want to get loose, but I don't know how loose I can be. And
they literally check in. So I will check in too. I'll be like, table one, see if Lair Bear is laughing.
See, yeah, and they're at tables, so they're freaking like half the audience is looking at each other like,
yeah. So I addressed that really early, just because I'm like, and then also I look young, so and I'm not that old, but
how old?
I just turned 30.
Okay,
but you know, when I was doing corporate stuff at 26, it's like you have to be like, yes, I am a person that warrants your attention. Even at 26, I know. I understand you are much older than me, and you work in business. Why the hell would I listen to this kid? So I gotta like.
You have to. You can't
be intelligent.
You have to be intelligent, and you can't be intimidated either. Like.
Yeah.
But
which I am. I sound like I'm like, yeah, just fucking walk in and own the place. Like, no, I get nervous before everyone because it's such a different, weird, interesting dynamic.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so we were talking about...
We were talking... Well, and I brought the difference between colleges and corporate. Because in corporate, it's like, don't talk about politics. Don't talk... You know, they'll like... Sometimes they'll tell you that. Like, we don't want to talk about this. We're not going to address that. But in colleges, you can't roll in day after the election and not talk about it.
And it depends on what kind of school it is. A lot of them are cool about everything. If you do things in a respectful way, with actual points, I think you could say a lot. But it's just like some people are so hardened by bar shows and comedy clubs that they'll do things that are ill-advised, like rape jokes. It's just like there's never a place for that to be okay unless like my friend Emily Galati does a good joke. And it's technically a rape joke, but it talks about she saw a pamphlet that said the 10 ways to prevent rape. Yeah. And she was like, that is 9 too many. Like it should just be don't.
Just don't.
Yeah, like don't.
Hey, like how about we just
that's
don't
like the only
people?
Yeah, that's the only joke because it has a real point and it's kind of making fun of the fact that like this is an interesting culture that we have to do that much.
That we actually have to have a law.
That's like an instance in which you could talk about it, but there's so many people that just like.
Well, do you think some of that is because a lot of mainstream guys that have broke huge, they're kind of like so like a guy like Louis C.K. will get up and say anything.
Well, like, that's also what people like, though. Some people really like comedians that say anything, but also some comedians that say anything still say it with purpose. Yeah. So like Louis C.K., even when he's saying some controversial things, it's like it's a point. Like he was on SNL and they got in trouble. He got in trouble because he was saying like if sexuality and the things we like aren't choices,
right?
Like people that are into young children, like that's something they don't choose, right? Which is interesting. But then he also went really far and said, so it must be great if they're willing to go to jail for it, which is like not good to talk about, but that's somebody that has enough establishment for that to be okay. And I think a lot of people see that and then try to emulate it. But if you don't know how to come from things with poise and whatnot, I don't know how I felt about that bit that he did. I would probably be like, I think there's other things you could say, but but whatever. It's not for me to choose.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of
But if you
want
to get people to notice, though, here's a problem. When people go like open mics, I want there to be a culture where people are listening. So
at open mics,
it just in general, wherever people are performing, because I try not to do bar shows that are open mics or anything like that, because if nobody's paying attention and you just have to be like shock factor to get people to listen, you're not talking about real quality stuff.
Yeah.
My real quality stuff doesn't go over well when nobody can hear it. Right. Also, you can't get a joke you can't hear. So then you're just saying like rude stuff to get giggles or maybe out of drunk people, and it's just not a good testing ground.
Yeah. Well, I just recently have gone to a couple open mics. I mean, I started off doing magic, just straight.
Yeah, but yours is different because people pay attention to magic in a different way than they do to comedy. People don't listen for comedy. Well, but with magic, they're like, wait, he's got cards in his hand. Let's look now. You can literally do it at a bar to pick up women, which is why every magician starts.
Right.
Like with the exception of like a few.
Yeah.
Then when there's I'm just kidding. It's not to pick up women, it's to pick up friends. That was the original. You're like,
it is.
Yo, I want to do something that's interesting that people will want to like hang around me for.
It's so weird that magic is a thing that like people who are incredibly socially anxious, not comfortable around people, they will pick up this thing because now it gives me a reason to talk to someone.
Yep.
And it gives me something to do with my hands, so I'm not just standing there awkwardly.
Yeah, so it's now cool. Like, rather than fidget spinnering, you're throwing a card up in the air and catching it. You're throwing the card and catching it.
I love it.
People, context for the people at home. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I tour about like 100, 150 colleges a year. But I also do some lecture now, which we can get into later. But
lecture at the colleges?
Yeah.
Dude, I want to hear about this.
Well, all my comedy shows have I share like a message at the end. But
That's right.
It's just about being able to speak up about what it is you're experiencing, because it's not just you that's experiencing it. And a lot of people experience so many times. A lot of people have shame over their own humanity.
Yeah.
So the campaign's called Say It Anyway. And the point is that like a lot of problems persist because people don't seek help or community or support from friends. Yeah. And maybe you have some shitty friends that aren't going to help you at all. But I know there are some out there, or maybe some people, and by the way, colleges have like mental health services. They have like counselors there that your tuition pays for. So I want people to go like talk to them.
Yeah.
So it's called Say It Anyway, and I want people to just talk about it. And I have depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Or I deal with it. I think everyone deals with it.
Right.
I deal with it to a larger extent than the average, but very similar to some people that have it a lot, you know. But why was I bringing this up? Oh, the context of what we're doing this. I've been touring the colleges a lot, and I go to all these conferences, so I know so many freaking magicians.
Yeah.
Okay? So I know a bunch of magicians.
Kind of
yeah.
Stuff. Oh, yeah.
One of my best friends is Eric Diddleman. He's a mind reader.
Yeah.
And he used to be within him and Matt Franco had an agency together, and then Franco won America's Got Talent.
Yep.
And then Diddleman and I teamed up because, you know, we could represent ourselves and each other together. But I just know all the magicians, and they're all so fucking nerdy. You guys are so nerdy. It's great.
Bad, man.
No, but you're nice.
Well, yes.
Like, when there's a jerk magician,
that's
like,
the worst,
who are
man.
you?
Because here's the deal. It's like, it never stops having this nerdy aspect to it.
Uh-huh.
So when you see a guy who's like so cocky and thinks he's like saving the world and he's finding the Queen of Hearts on a deck of cards, it's like, calm the hell down. Like,
yeah, it's like we all know exactly what you're doing.
Bro, we get this.
I could tell you the name of it.
That's
why it's so good. Penn and Teller Fool Us is so good because they just look.
Oh yeah.
They like they don't blow up the magician's spot. So when they know what the magician did, they're kind of like, that might be, let's say, Franklin-esque.
Yeah.
And then the person's like, Penn and Teller, no.
Yeah,
and that's it. And
they know, they got me. They've had me.
And I'm like, no, they didn't give up anything. You still looked good. And that's like, oh my God. I don't watch that show regularly, but I have like 7 friends that have been on it.
Totally, yeah.
And it's like, I just am happy with how positive they are.
Yeah.
Versus, shows like America's Got Talent that aren't.
Listen, and people who listen to this podcast know this. Oh, dude, we got to we're all over the place. We got to talk about America's Got Talent. But let me go on my rant about magic. I love magic. I've been obsessed with it since I was 5 years old. My goal with it is to work myself out of it. Like my career goal.
Wait, what do you mean? You just want to be done?
No. I love it. I'll always do it. Any successful entertainer who has an interest in magic used to be a magician. So it's always like, hey, Neil Patrick Harris used to do magic. Steve Martin used to do magic. Johnny Carson used to do magic. Like there's a certain magicians get stuck in this event entertainment where like you're always invited to perform at an event.
What do you want to do then?
I want to do a show for people that want to see it. Like I want my show to be the event. I don't want to be invited to an event.
Oh yeah, okay. So you want people? Yeah, like a house show. So you have a location and people come to it.
No. Like I'd like to do theaters. I want to tour theaters, but I want to do shows.
So still touring.
Okay. But like
my friend Lee Terbosic in Pittsburgh, he had a little bit of a house show. It's very interesting. He did with they have the biggest Dave & Buster's.
Okay.
Pittsburgh does.
In Pittsburgh?
Yeah, and they had a theater, and he worked out a deal where like Friday, Saturday, every single week for like X number of weeks.
Yeah, just like a residency at the Dave & Buster's.
He had a little residency there.
That's kind of cool.
And then now he's going to be doing his own at a hotel that's around there.
That's a lot of guys are doing that, man.
But like that's cool. I mean, the thought of, people coming to you, because when you're a live entertainer, you have to change your audience, and usually that means you move.
Yeah, no, I don't mean like a residency where it's like I'm in one spot.
Okay, so you want to do theater shows where people
I want to have enough of an audience where people are coming. They're not coming to another event.
Well, the way you said it made it sound like you want to go do something different, like you're talking about Johnny Carson or like Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah. No, I'm saying. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I was like, do you really want to be like a carpenter or something? Like you could go do that. Like you work on that.
No, but like Steve Martin went into comedy. And then all of a sudden he got an audience. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there is somewhat of a threshold on magic, unless you're like one of the two. Like,
yo, you just gotta get on a show.
It's what it is, dude.
And I don't like that, but that's kind of what it is.
You're talking about like TV?
Yeah.
Like TV puts butts in seats.
It puts butts in seats. And it's it's a little. It's not the fault of the bookers, but it's hard for people to know you if they don't know you.
Right.
And that's the thing that, like, so everybody, I'm in this weird little niche where people don't know who I am.
Yeah.
But I work a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So when I show up, I always do a really, really good job.
Right.
But there's no, like, grand recognition. I've been recognized, like, 5 times total in public. Unless it's somebody that saw me at my show.
Right.
Like, if they saw my show live, I was just in Phoenix, and somebody saw me perform at their college in Ohio 2 years ago.
Wow.
And I was at Starbucks, and he's like, I think I know you. And I was like, oh, hey.
Well, see, and that's the deal, man. It's like you're going to kick ass. You're going to do a good job. People may not know you ahead of time, but they'll know you afterward. But
yeah, but then they forget unless it's constant.
Do you ever feel like every show is a job interview? Like, I swear, like...
Yo, I have to get 100 jobs a year. When people talk about job interviews, I'm like, okay, the moment I get booked a gig, perfect. Now I have to then do that 100 more times this year.
And if you're lucky, they'll book you a year from now or 2 years from now because they want to switch
it up. It's usually 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few that have trusted me, and I come back like every year. Yeah. Which is really awesome.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, there's this one all-female school in Massachusetts that I do their like orientation every year.
That's cool.
And it's so great because they're so challenging.
Why is that?
Because it's like... I love progressive schools, and I really identify as a feminist. And as a comedian, when you joke, you're taking strong perspectives. Right. So it's so great because I will lean into that. So like a school that is co-ed, like most colleges.
Yeah.
Not everybody's so willing to call me out on shit because they're like, I don't know who this person is, or I don't look like a fool in front of Dylan, and then Dylan's like, I don't know if I want to look like a jackass in front of Becky or whatever. But then when it's the all-female school, they're already like, that's not how this works. And I'm like, damn it. It's so fun. It's so fun because then like it gets challenging, but then I have to like a little defend myself. And then at one point they're going to say, take it off. And I'm like, up to my shirt. Yeah. Because it's like all women, I'm the guy there. Right. And I'm like, this is okay because I don't feel threatened or worried. Yeah. But like if this were the opposite situation, it would so not be okay. Like, And that's something, and I guess it's playful, but I'm like, and then I also make a somber
So you'll
note
talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah, like real issues.
When did the messaging come into your shows? Was that just like you just
no, it took
always
a while.
talk about stuff that's...
No, it took a while. Because I had to spend years learning to be funny and being funny, and then learning to do shows and learning to remember things. So like I used to set up a music stand, the thing that you put sheet music on.
Yeah.
And I would have like a couple pieces of paper with keywords on it.
Yep.
And I'd have like 4 pages that had 2 pages on each.
Yeah.
Lines of keywords. And while I could do stand-up, I could face you this way, and as I move, I could turn towards it and see a word.
Okay.
Or a trigger, or a couple of things, and then I go off onto that 4 or 5 minute bit tangent.
Yep.
And I did that for the first couple of years because I was, I started out doing hour-plus long shows.
Mm-hmm.
My show now is like 75, 80 minutes.
Yeah. But when you first started, you're doing an hour?
Mm-hmm. Good. I did the same venue. I did the same kind of shitty venue 5 times in a row, and I did 15 minutes 5 times. But it was the same people there, so you couldn't
was this like
do.
like a weekly
it's like
contest
a coffee shop.
Kind of thing? Yeah.
No, it's just a coffee shop.
Oh, but you knew I've got to have different material because.
Well, I just wanted to. I'm like, no, they saw that last time. I got to do this. And then after doing that for like 5 weeks out of like 7 weeks, then like we're already at an hour if the things are good. But I've formulated a lot of longer bits because that's been my farming.
Okay.
So. Wow,
like a lot
sounds
of storytelling.
By the way, thank
or?
you. The way we're talking about this now, because I get really down about things. But the way we're talking about it now reminds me that I'm in a good spot.
Yeah.
And I was privileged as a comedian in the sense that I got a lot of time early, but that's because I spent all my time trying to book.
Yeah.
So I spent months booking 11 college shows.
Wow.
But then that was worth it. Yeah, I was 22.
So you're 22. You just start. When did you started?
I finished
at 22?
college. Yeah, I started at 21, and then my first college gig I was 22.
So you just like jumped up at an open mic or something like?
No, I planned it.
You planned it.
I planned it for like 6 months before I actually
so
went
you
to
never.
an open mic.
So you had never done stand up, but you said I'm gonna be a stand up.
Yeah. Also, I had a broken thumb. The person I was dating, we broke up. I was graduating a semester early.
Yeah.
And like I didn't know what I was doing with my life. And that's kind of what happens a lot with college students, but I feel for them so much. They're like, in high school, they tell you what to do. And then you get to college and then they're like, hey, what do you want to do? And you're like, shit, I'm not prepared for that.
What I want to do in my life.
Have people value me? I don't know. Should I keep posting? And it sucks. And jobs change all the time for people. So you don't know what to do.
Right.
And a degree doesn't really automatically mean a career anymore. The willingness to work does not mean that you have a career.
Right.
So I put everything off, like figuring out grad school by starting comedy. And I was like writing jokes instead of that. And then because I had a broken hand, I had a note taker. So I could my mind could wander during class and I was writing stuff down, writing jokes down. And then I did an open mic and there was like 7 people there, but I was so excited. And then because nobody really showed up, I was like, can I go up again? So I went up twice in the one night.
And did different stuff?
Different stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Well, because they only wanted like 5-6 minutes or something. Right. And I was like, can I do another 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that became the thing that I focused on. And actually, to the credit of my parents, I was like, I need a real job. I need to figure out what I'm going to grad school for or why I'm going. And they're like, well, I mean, you seem interested in this thing. Like,
that's cool. They like encourage you to do it?
Yeah. And I was like, that's not a real job, Mom. So yeah, I've been full time for like 6 years.
That's rad.
7 years, 8.
That's
7,
rad.
I've been doing it 8. No shit, I'm 30. I've been doing it 9 years. I've been touring colleges for 8, and I've been full time for 7.
Rad. What was the day job at the beginning?
Oh, it was substitute teaching. But also, mind you,
I
lived at my parents' house. No, I definitely wrote during class, during times when I could.
Right.
But I lived at home after college. Yeah. It made it sound like, oh my God, you moved out on your own. You were like a full grown adult. I was like, no, I moved back after college and then I lived back there for 5 years doing this.
But you said you booked 11 colleges, like you just bust ass to try to book these shows right away?
Yeah.
Most guys don't do that. Like, that's amazing to me.
I just was like emailing or calling people, but in strategic ways, like.
So you started doing comedy and you're like, I'm going to work at this. I'm actually going to book shows.
Well, I wouldn't do it if I didn't make a living at it.
Why? It's not a hobby.
No, well, okay, so I would now, and there's a lot of things that I do that are hobbies, okay?
Yeah.
There's so many things that I do that are hobbies. But in terms of this, like, I couldn't invest this much if it... And that's why, like, That's why so I really made sure that I could, at least, but I have a nice support system with my parents. They allowed me to stay there for years after it. And then, 5 years after college.
Right.
That's a large amount of time of building up.
Right.
Working towards something and making money. And it wasn't even bad living there, because what happens in the suburbs of Chicago is like people go to college and then they come back and move to the suburbs.
Okay.
So they're in the, like, it's not like it used to be where it's like, oh, you move back home after college. Ugh. It's like, yo, we all have to save up. Yeah. And the difference now is that most of my friends, they ended up around 26, 27 getting married to someone, or getting a house at 28 in the suburbs. So they saved up so they could then also become a part of the suburbs in a house unit. Okay. Rather than like going to the city and paying rent or moving across the country or something like that. Yeah. So like I was in the city for a while, Chicago, and then I moved out here because like a lot of my friends have babies, and I like their babies, and their babies are awesome. Yeah. And I love that they wake up with purpose.
It's so cool.
It is. Oh yeah, we got to talk about your kids.
I love it.
Okay, I'm sorry. My friend has been hanging out with this girl, Jackie, just a friend, and she's my age. She's 30. Okay. If she ever listens to Oops, whatever. Right. I don't think you would. But if you do, okay, apparently Jackie has kids. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like,
wait, you didn't know? What do you mean apparently she has kids?
That's, do you understand? That's my point. Like, how do you not know if someone has kids? Like, if you hang out with somebody more than 3 times, like,
you didn't know she had kids.
In 2 weeks, you guys hang out together 5 times, so it has to come up. Right? At some point, you have to be like, wait, so you have 3 kids? Where are they? Like,
who's
and maybe it could be a sore subject, and I'm sorry if I'm being insensitive. I might be being insensitive towards whatever the situation is. But also, like, be more present. And I mean, and it may sound worse because I'm saying it about a woman. So let's say a guy that has 3 kids. When I learned about one of my friends who's a comedian, he had a kid, and I'm like, dude, I've known you for 2 years. Right. How do I not know that? Yeah. How does that...
And even one kid, like, maybe they're trying to figure it out and how to not, bring it up or balance it out and all that. But
whatever,
3
if we're
kids,
talking about life enough, that should come up. That's a big factor. Man. Sorry, I get really mad about people that aren't good parents. And I know people use the tools that they have. Yeah. And I don't want to be insensitive, but also, like, that becomes a major priority. Yeah. And you know what? I have an advantage that you don't, in the sense that I could just take off and leave. And like,
it is a totally different world.
You do have a team.
I do.
You got your partner.
I do,
which is very helpful. But
yeah, but it is different, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, I've had to forego a dog and like normal stuff. Yeah.
But you know what? That's a smart move. Like not the family thing, but I'm saying like the dog thing. Like, we have a dog. We had a dog for 11 years. Our dog passed. We waited like 3 months and got another dog, and I'm like, guys, it's so nice to not have to have someone take care of the dog.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, the reason why this all actually comes full circle. So it sounds like our conversation had no point to it, but the point being is that if I'm this entity, this person that is gone all the time, and that isn't married or doesn't have kids now, and doesn't have some of the things, like, because I'm always moving, I need a reason to be doing what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So that's why the things have gone to real subject matter. And that's why the things have gone to lectures or mental health advocacy. Because it's like, I can't just do it to be funny or to have people giggle or laugh or feel good about that. I need to make sure that, like, somebody listened to me today and now they might feel more okay about their existence. That's what I need.
Dude, I freaking love it.
Yeah.
And what?
Can I high five?
Yes, please, dude.
All right, cool.
Here's the thing is most...
But not everybody has the ability to do that. So
what do you mean not? You mean the ability to present in that way?
Yeah.
My wife and I were talking about this.
I sound so idealistic and cool. Like, oh man. Yeah. Maybe I don't sound cool. I don't know. You guys judge. But they're like, wow, that's a cool thing that you're doing. I'm like, I know, but like, if you're somebody that's doing clubs all the time, you might not be able to do that. Yeah. Or if you are an actor and the scripts are written for you, you can't just always do that. You might be able to do it in your personal time. Yeah. But you can't just be like, hey, I want to go off script and talk about like the things that I care about. And most people in their jobs can't do that. Well, like if you're an accountant, you can't just talk to everyone in the office and be like, listen, guys, we got to talk openly about what everyone's experiencing here. I notice you've been having a tough time. How's your depression making you feel? Do you talk to somebody about it? What are some of the ways in which you handle it? Yeah. Are you able to catch onto your triggers for your anxiety. Like, because that's just not office talk, and I want it to be. I want people to say it anyway.
It does take a special ability, though. Like, not everyone can connect on that level. My wife and I were talking about this on the way here.
Okay.
Like, literally on the phone.
Wait, on the way here? Oh, gosh, she's on the phone. I was like,
she's in the car. We rolled the window down. She's
okay. All right. You know, she could do that. I don't know why you said we. But I'll just say you're codependent. That's why you said we.
I was trying to play a jackass, so that's why I said it that way. Yeah. Anyway.
We'll ask her if that's real.
Yeah, we will.
Are you sorry now?
Should we call her right now? Now he's doing the look again. You've really perfected that look. Did you pick that up from someone in particular, or did your mom do that growing up?
No, my mom, like, she never yelled at me. There was the, like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. And that always worked, but I just dated people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have the experience.
I dated people.
Dude, I want to talk about this whole, like, idea of, like, doing something that matters, because that's huge for me. So, like, you and I just met, literally, we connected about a show that we're doing, and then we sat down and did this.
If you want to go in the past and come to my show tonight, we have a show tonight at the West Side Theater in Santa Monica.
That's right.
It's the Grab Bag Variety Show. So what that is like, because Taylor runs his show, and that's actually how I met you, because someone's like, oh, there's a show that's a variety at Nerdist, Nerd Melt, and I like that place. And I know all these, like, magician friends, and I like hosting and I do stand-up, but I'm like, oh, well, the West Side Theater in Santa Monica is an improv theater, so they need something a little different. I'm like, what if I just do, like, a variety show with 5-6 acts of people that I know? And it's on a Sunday because that's when people come back from tour.
Yep.
And then I was like...
So brilliant.
And it's Grab Bag because I'm Grabowski, Adam Grabowski, and you don't know what you're going to get. So we're going to have a motivational speaker who's going to be doing comedy.
I saw that, dude.
Yeah, Josh Sundquist. He's great.
Oh, dude. Okay,
I've said so many names. This is nice of me.
Good. This
Adam
is good.
Grabowski. Don't fuck all those other people. No. Like, Adam Grabowski, AdamGrabowski.com, Adam Grabowski on Snapchat.
There you go. We'll put all the links so people can just, they don't even have to think, they just click on the picture and then...
I like making people think.
That's good. Well, dude, and this is why, okay, so the reason I talk about us just meeting, I have a very interesting past for being an entertainer. I used to work at a church, like for years, which is also why I look much older than I am. I'm 36, that, and I have an 11-year-old daughter, so... But I used to, I used to...
We did math. Well, you told me the kids, so I guessed a little older.
I'm a 9 and 11-year-old.
You got that Taylor Hicks going on.
I do. I got the gray hair.
How'd you feel about that when that came about? Because you're like, your name is similar.
My name is similar. Well, I didn't have the gray hair at the time.
Okay.
But then it was just, hey, man, like Taylor Hicks. Like every time I go to do a show, people would give me crap. But and now I get it a lot.
Yeah.
Now I get, you know what I get a lot now? I get the Alec Baldwin thing. Like, since I've been gray, people are like, you look like... I'm like, which version of Alec Baldwin?
Older. No, not older, but like earlier, which means older. That's what that means.
People don't know this. Alec Baldwin was born as a 35-year-old man.
That's why that Boss Baby isn't a fictional thing. It's just a story about Alec Baldwin. It's so funny. It's supposed to be for kids, but then on the tagline is "Cookies are for closers," which is a reference to Glengarry Glen Ross, which is a movie not many people have seen unless they're over the age of 30.
Right.
So like, it's just who is the demographic? I guess it's the parents think it's funny. I don't know. Whatever.
I think most
it'll pop
most
up on
of the
Netflix
humor in kids' movies is for the parents to sit there and
they just like to see the things move and talk to them.
That's true, man.
Yeah.
So. I brought up the fact that I used to work at a church, which people listening to the podcast know. I left my job at the church and my association with said church. But it's this weird thing.
We don't know which one it is. That's the fun.
Oh, no. I grew up in a non-denominational Christian church.
What is that?
It's like...
people that can't decide?
No, it's people who go like, we just want to be free to like do what we want.
So the ones that are kind of like,
it's still a
Baptist, that's not doing that well politically, like... Catholic.
It's basically people. They don't want to take a stance on anything.
No,
they don't want to.
I like that. I don't know why you need a denominational. I think it should be more open to reinterpretation and to updating. I was talking to my roommate about religion because my roommate, like, he's been a minister at weddings and
like officiates weddings.
Yeah, he's done that. Yeah. But I'm like super atheist.
Yeah.
So we talk about things and, just the structure of church. And I'm just kind of like, the problem that I have with a lot of things is things just need to be updated all the time.
Yes.
And he's like, well, the stories in the Bible are a guide. And I'm kind of like, Yeah, but not everyone's aware of that. So
Right.
when things are like trying to explain racism or sexism or horrible things in the Bible, I understand it's via the context of the time. So a lot of it's not that bad based upon when it was written.
Right.
But people nowadays, I mean, if you're reading it modern,
And that's why the whole approach to how people.
but
read
most
the Bible
books
is
are looked
so
at. Like, so
wrong.
if you read a book
Yeah.
in school from the 1920s,
Right.
you would be like, this is a word they used in the 1920s. These are how the things worked in there.
Right.
But then when it comes to the Bible, people
Tom
tend to
Sawyer
take
and
it
stuff.
to be modern.
Right.
But it's not. You have to always understand. Like, this is the point I always like to make.
Yeah.
The concept of no sex till marriage.
Which is not in the Bible.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
didn't think it was.
Yeah.
But even if you were to use it in the context of the time in which the Bible was written,
Right.
no sex till marriage meant don't have sex with an 11 or 10-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Because girls were getting married to their father's business partner at age 11. So like I'm down with the don't sleep
Yeah.
with a 10-year-old or 11-year-old. Like we
Yeah.
have laws that say they have to be at least 18 or 17 based on
Right.
the state. So like the context of that, I'm like, yeah, if that's what you're taking out of it, but it's just.
Yeah.
But I was wondering. I was like, I didn't think it actually talked about that specifically. But where did that interpretation come from? Was that just a
That's one of the
stance?
things that I really struggle with is people saying the Bible says this and the Bible is God's word, but it's like,
Yeah.
well, okay, it was written by over 40 people
Yeah.
over a period of like so many hundred years. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. So it has to be taken contextually.
you have to take it contextually.
But that's
yes.
hard to be, but
And-
also it's
and-
not always taught that way. So you can't like always blame young people that grow up to then think
No.
all the words are
Right.
like strictly exactly.
Well, and this is where I'm in a weird spot. Man, I did not plan this to go this way.
I always do
This
it.
is the problem where I don't plan anything with this.
I'm always
But no,
going to go
this-
to the deeper topic.
Dude, I love it. And well, this is why I brought it up in the first place.
Okay.
Is that I love that you're wanting to do stuff that matters. Because for me, I was a guy who grew up in the church, still have my own beliefs, but they don't line up, like they don't fit into any box. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I
Try
still.
a bag?
What'd you say? I should try to find, like a grab bag.
Yeah.
Maybe I could pick one of those up at the West Side Comedy.
Yo, we're actually giving out a grab bag today. It's going to have some weird stuff in it. So people get to put their hand in the bag and grab something. That sounded way worse. That's not like
Yeah.
put your hand in the bag and grab
Or
something.
way more exciting, depending on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's just me being a creeper.
Right.
Hey there, young lady. Oh my god. Don't worry, it's a 21 and over show.
There you go. What was I even talking about?
You're at the church and then you're not there anymore, but
So,
you feel
no,
a little.
So yeah, well, it's like what do you do when it's like, okay, I have this viewpoint on life, and I do appreciate the Bible for what it is, but I think it's being used differently than what it actually is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like when people use a historically liberal person, Jesus, for the most conservative reasons.
It's like, dude, if you freaking look at
Jesus would
and
hug
what he
everyone
said-
and give them all
Yes!
the money. And then it's like, I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know. It's just, you're like,
Don't compare Jesus. My friend did a
Jesus
video.
would want, like, it's just like, come on. He really just want everyone to help each other out. So when we talk about taxing rich people and giving better breaks to people with less, that's literally in line with his teachings. Like, that's not...
Right.
I don't understand how it's been
That's
kind of bastardized in that way.
Right. Totally, man. So
When you applied the political agenda to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and politics got all involved very quickly with all of it. I bring all that up because having been someone who I used to work at a church, being someone now who totally loves the idea of helping people and using your ability to communicate in a way that's going to encourage or challenge or get people to think about
I
a
just want better
subject.
people. And that's kind of presumptuous
Dude.
sometimes, though. It's kind of presumptuous, though, because sometimes people just don't enjoy themselves. And I'm like, yeah, but, like, you just use the N-word. Like,
Right.
we're going to have a long discussion that will probably end with me leaving angrily. Like,
I love it.
well, it's like, I mean, it's just a phrase. And, like, we're going to have to talk about the
Yeah, words
context
are
of that.
powerful.
Yeah. So some people, well, okay, that's an instance when you should always take a pause. But I meant
Right.
other times. Like,
Right.
okay, so I there's this girl, I was dancing, and my roommate and I were dancing. We like to go out and dance. Met a girl.
Oh, you went out and danced. You were not just
No.
here, not just the two of you.
Oh, no, we will dance party here.
I love it.
Yo, it's because he's supportive of it that I'm able to do it, because if it was just by myself, I feel weird. And we were dancing, and then we just ended up talking to this group of girls because, like, one of them obviously had to watch the purses.
Yeah.
And she had, like, watched the purse face, which was, like, they left to go to the bathroom, and then she's wondering like why they're taking them so long. So she's just like sitting there with like all the stuff. Yeah. And I was like, don't worry, when they come back, you make them watch your stuff. And like that's what we started. Anyway, one of the girls and I kind of hit it off. We were joking and talking, and then I go to the friend. And I go, oh, do I get friend approval? And then she's like, well, what's your sign? And I was like, oh no, come on. And I was like, I'm a Cancer. And she's like, really? I could see that, I think. And I was like, no, I'm lying to you. I'm never going to tell you my sign. And she's like, why? Don't lie about that. I'm like, no, because it doesn't matter. It's a predictive science. It's not a measuring. So most science is measuring things, but astrology is predicting things, which is not science at all. It's not guessing. Real. And so then I was like, yo, I'm not actually Cancer. I'm Sagittarius. And she's like, I knew it because of blank. And she gave 2 reasons. And I was like, dude. Well, and then I was like, no, I was lying about Sagittarius. I'm still not going to tell you what it is. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry for all that. It's actually Gemini. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like, really? No, I'm Gemini. And she's like, no, it's not. I'm like, all right, you got me. I'm Taurus. And then she's like, it doesn't even matter. And I was like, my friend's like, why do you got to be rude? And I'm like, because, like, I'm like, this, yes. She's like, well, you know, she wasn't being mean to you. And I'm like, no, she wasn't being mean. But also, if your friend is going to make decisions in their life based upon an inaccurate decision-making tool. Yep. And I've just had a situation personally where a friend was having a tough time, and I took them to go see one of their parents for support. Yeah. And the parents just talked about moons and Jupiter and like sent them their horoscope every day. It's like they need a hug and an I love you right now. They don't need the horoscope about the third moon of Jupiter is about to leave Taurus. And you're like, yo, that doesn't fix when somebody's having like PTSD or whatever it may be. Like
totally.
Your child is going through something. So that's actually the reason why I take such a strong stance, because rather than finding legitimate things and resources to help their child, they rely on an inexact science. So I'm that person that, like, even though things were hitting it off with that girl, I would rather make a strong point.
Well, dude, and being a
freaking... we still made it fun. My roommate ran like deflection. Yeah. You know, where he was being funny and nice to everyone too, so it kind of made me not look as much of a jerk. I wasn't trying to be a jerk.
Dude, I had a guy hit me up through my website once.
Okay.
And he says, I got a special project I want to talk to you about. Money's no object. So I called him. And he's like, here's what I need. Could you convince someone using magic tricks that you were psychic?
Well, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's what psychics do.
Yeah.
It's literally, that's the game.
I played that before.
Yeah.
I did that.
Did you really do that?
At one time.
Dude.
Because someone gave me info on a friend that they knew was going to be at a conference I was at.
Yeah.
So I used the backwards,
like cold reading.
It's coming to me type, but smart about it.
Yep.
And like it freaked them out because and I was like, no, man, your friend Nick gave me this info and told me to message you.
Which is fun for entertainment, right?
But they wanted this for real?
Well, dude, this guy says to me, he's like, look, my girlfriend left me. I want you to pose as a psychic. I am not joking you, bro. This is what he said. He says,
that's love, though.
He goes,
I would never do that.
Yeah, he's like,
right,
I want you to pose
psychologically manipulate somebody by being
he's like, I just want you to do enough so that she knows you're thinks you're the real deal, and then tell her if she doesn't come back to me, like horrible things are gonna happen.
This is the only context in which that's acceptable. You ready? Did she break up with him because of what a psychic said?
Dude.
If she broke up with him because of what a psychic said,
then you're just,
then
undoing a wrong.
You're undoing it wrong. You're kind of just, but actually you're further validating
belief in
that stuff. Nonsense. But then that's the only way. But oh my goodness, so what'd you say? What'd you do?
I'm like, man, I'm not your guy. I'm like, I could absolutely do that. Yeah. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, because you could be right about enough stuff or do some mentalism tricks. I don't know how much mentalism you do versus magic.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing I get on, because I think like mentalism is magic.
Yeah, it is magic. It's just a way of
marketing yourself. Like,
no, yeah, Well, so Eric Diddleman, one of my close personal friends, he does mentalism.
Yeah,
and the reason why he goes with that title is because you now know what you're gonna get more.
Yes.
So like his stuff is a lot
Exactly.
more psychological, I'm guessing, versus like I just made a physical object go through another physical object.
Right.
So magic to me is more physical.
Yep.
And mentalism is mental magic. Yeah. So most people do a combo of the two. I mean, it's a subcategory of magician, but then you could also go with that. Like, I'm a comedian, but stand up is what you'd call me. Right. So, umbrella comedian, stand up. Yeah. But I would like to hear your angry thoughts about that. You know, I get pissed off about people say comedian they go magician and comedian, mentalist and comedian.
Yeah.
Something and comedian. They just always add and comedian. And then when it comes to comedian, you're just like, nah, I guess I'm just that. Like, actor and comedian. You're like, I'm the and thing. You negate. It's fine, though.
I feel that way.
But it's good to say.
I feel that way about magic, though, because, like, I can't tell you how many times I meet a variety artist who's, like, a juggler. Like, but he doesn't have you can't juggle for an hour, generally, unless you're really freaking good. Like, tonight, we're going to have Chris there.
Chris
could do it. But I'm saying, like, a lot of guys use magic as a tag on. It's like I'm a ventriloquist, but I also do this 15 minutes of magic to break up the show because anybody can do magic. You know what I mean? It's like this idea of like, you know, just go buy.
You know, it's funny. The selling point of magic is that it's a thing that nobody can do. How are you doing it? And you just said literally anyone can do magic, which is true. It's true.
Not everyone can entertain the audience.
No, not everyone can. And also, there's so many intricate things you'd have to do sometimes. Freaking magicians, man, and mentalists, you guys lay your little magic traps so early. You'll be so fucked up as people that you will go into someone's house, look at a book of theirs, like 2 months in advance. Oh, yeah. Remember the page number and the word on like the 7th line. Go on the road, come back in 2 months, and then do some sort of thing where you get me to like open that book to that page, and then you tell me the word. I'm like, how the fuck would you know that? But I know the thing. You guys just invested so early. It's so like
and it's so gross, dude. Because you know they're like gone through 20 states and done that in like 5 cities in each state. And, like they're just keeping track. Like I got an Ace of Hearts planted in someone's couch in Tucson.
The memory that has to go with some of this stuff, though.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I love it, but I hate it.
Yeah, no, I have an Ace of Hearts. I have an Ace of Hearts planted in Tucson.
Right.
Yo, just in case
if
I ever get rebooked there.
Dude, if I'm in the Denver airport at the Chipotle and
and there's someone cute, I'm legit going to be like, is this your card? And it's going to be right up on.
There's actually not.
And then you still got to do.
In case you go to it's a Kidobo. There's not a.
They have Kidobo there. They have. It's a yellow. Never mind. I don't know the name of it, but it's like Fresh Market.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called Fresh Market in the Denver airport. I like it.
Dude, I was just talking to my friend this week. He's a drummer.
Wait, okay, the church?
Yes.
You left there.
Yeah.
Were you going to say why you weren't doing that anymore, or is it just the difference?
Oh, no, I was just saying, like, I mean, I left because, okay, so I describe it like this. With magic, I saw a magic show, and then I saw how it all worked, and I went, this is amazing, and I loved it even more, right? With church, I loved church. Then I saw how this church worked,
interesting,
and I hated it, and was like.
So once you got the behind the scenes,
yeah,
because a lot of people look at something and they go, "That like a lot of people look like they love acting," and then they actually be on set for a day, and you're like,
"Gosh,
this is not even that fun."
Exactly, yeah. So, and again, not that every.
That's why I'm okay with actors like getting all the accolades. I'm like, yeah, you just like
you put up with a lot of crap.
It was 14 degrees out, and you had to pretend like it was summer. 17 different times.
Yep.
At 5 a.m.
Yeah, and you were there for 14 hours, and you actually acted it for like 10
so
minutes.
I'm good at being myself.
Acting's weird, man.
My roommate's good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do a lot of auditions and stuff.
He does. He's at one right now. Yeah, cool, Sydney Adeney.
That's a work, man. And that's when guys are like, "You're so lucky you booked that gig and it paid like $30,000," and it's like, well, yeah, but
because I went on 97 other things.
Exactly.
Yeah, but money also isn't earned. Like it's earned, but not really. So like there's somebody that worked much harder than the person that made $30,000 that definitely
they're doing
contributed.
Craft services.
Yeah. They're doing craft services there, or they're somebody that's, you know, let's say, I don't know if this is like just a basic sort of example, but the people that come and pick up your recycling, like that is a service that's needed, or anybody that does any cleaning at a hotel, that's a service that's very necessary for me personally to survive. And they don't make anywhere near what I make or what some other people make doing.
So money can't be a gauge for.
But the problem is that we still use the money as a gauge. So like, but then do you want the people to feel like, well, I earned that money, but it's like I didn't earn it. So the hard part is the dichotomy. Like, that's why it's really, so when you see somebody with a lot of stuff, it's hard not to think that they might be better than you and have that bias when you're growing up, because why is it happening to me and they're not dealing with that?
Right.
Well, I don't like money. I'm good with money, but I don't like it in the sense that it, like, what happens, but I just don't know of a better barter system for how many people there are. Like, it would be very difficult to, like, everyone contributes in a certain way. Like, that'd be very hard to organize, you know?
Yeah.
So money has to happen, but that's why I think we should have different laws in place that help even it out and help some people out and let them function and live.
I love that we keep getting deep.
Sorry. That's what I do.
Well, this is the whole thing with church, man. It's like I left church because I didn't like that it wasn't doing what we said we were doing. You know what I mean? But when it comes
because at certain points, it's kind of a business.
It is, definitely.
Yeah.
It is 100% a business. Yeah. So my thing with
I don't know if I've made you think, feel, or give up on everything. Like, I feel like that's what has come as a result of
because
it.
I just getting quiet? Or?
No, because I see you actually thinking about the things I've said, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I've
improved
your life.
I love it, dude. I'll edit out all the pauses. Will sound so brilliant.
No, the pauses. Oh,
the pauses are important.
No, the pauses aren't even big.
No. They
just think they are because we're sped up because we're doing a podcast.
I know.
Yeah, everything seems.
But this is huge for me, man, because I meet so many guys who I just want to be funny. I just want to, and which is great. I love wanting to be funny, really but there's still part of me who used to be this pastor guy who loves, like, hey, let's use this opportunity to talk about stuff that really freaking matters, you know? So, like, comedy that I love stuff like...
But it's also both, because sometimes you do just want a distraction.
Well,
like,
dude,
when you think about what people put on at night, it's usually like, I know 5 people that put on TV show Friends at night because they know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
But Friends actually had some insight.
Just put on Frasier and shut my mind off for a minute. You know what I mean? But that's part of where I'm at right now, and why I want to get away from doing event entertainment is because I want to actually do something that matters more than the distraction. Like, I love that I can go into
and sometimes it really helps. If you allowed somebody to feel okay for a day of their life.
Right.
You did something because existence is difficult.
Yes.
But, yeah, no, it's
there
it's
are
cool.
Things
I appreciate
like
that.
You know what I mean? I feel like
I think this is why you and I are friends already. Like,
see, man?
Yeah.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of the About to Break podcast. 3 quick ways that you can help us out here at About to Break. The first one is to go on iTunes and leave us a review. If you enjoy the program, please leave us a 5-star review. Big thank you to everyone who's already done that. If you haven't yet, please jump over to iTunes. You'll need your iTunes account information. But you can click on the podcast, leave us a 5-star review. Just leave us a 1 or 2 sentence little blurb there. Let people know what you like about it. That helps us out huge. Second way you can help us at About to Break is by becoming a producer. Our goal is to have 1,000 people giving at least $1 a month to help offset the cost of producing these shows. And it does take time. And it is a passion project. I will continue putting these out for free because I think it's a helpful conversation. But anything you can do to help us out by producing the show would be awesome. Go over to abouttobreakpodcast.com, click on Become a Producer, and see what that's all about. Last thing that you can do, and this one is also a real simple way of making a difference, is just sharing the podcast. All right, when you see it out there on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, go ahead and follow along and then share it with your friends. Let someone else know how much you liked it, because it sure does make a difference. All right, back to the program.
I want to talk about America's Got Talent, because this happened today. You had a video. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I had my audition video where I got 4 yeses from the judges.
It was freaking amazing
standing ovation. And oh, by the way, they only showed like 1 joke in the clip. But when I did the thing, I joked about 6 different Disney movies, and there was, it was 3 minutes long, but then they cut it down to like 45 seconds.
That's the thing with that show, man. It's like, and you got to sign the waiver saying we can do whatever we want.
Yeah,
make you look however we want.
I even got a standing ovation 3 years ago. They just later they didn't want to just have me on the show, so they just didn't have me go to the second round. So I got passed through by the judges. But look, here's the thing. People are like, that's not fair. It should just be the judges choosing. I'm like, well,
they're making
different judges. It's executive producers choosing. Right. And it's kind of like, how do you win? Be appealing.
Yeah.
It's the same way that everyone wins on TV. So it's like, you might not be the best performer, but you're the most interesting story.
You have a story. They're buying a story.
Yeah, they are. And I'm a little mad that I sat on my talk about depression.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do it in the first couple rounds. I wanted to wait until live rounds to then talk about my depression, because then if I'm doing it too early, then I'm the depressed comedian, and that's all they're going to focus on. Yeah. So I want to get up there on my merit. But
it's tough.
Yeah,
man.
no. So they had my video on, and it had like almost 700,000 views, and I used it on my website and stuff. But then they just took it down for like spring cleaning or something. Yeah.
No reason whatsoever.
So I submitted to this thing, and then I got an email back that said the link didn't work. So I re-uploaded it on my YouTube channel, which is fine. But like, they have a lot more to worry about than if my video is getting views or what I'm getting booked by. So
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, but I mean that was a good experience, good clip. The next experience or clip, they cut out all my punchlines, and don't look this up online. Don't give any merit to this, but they actually...
And they just make it look like you're...
No, they cut out... Yeah, they took out... I got the audience to laugh.
I've had several friends.
Yeah, I did a 3-minute bit. They cut it down to 37 seconds and made it look like I tanked. Now, the judges didn't like me in that round.
Yeah.
In the second round, that's fine. They can not like me.
What's so funny to
I got
me?
the audience to do the joke. So if you want to, look up my food perv joke.
Yeah.
Food perv. Yep. I'm meaning it's a phrase referring to people that perv out on food.
Yeah.
And how and when it happens and how it messes with dating and like people's reactions to food. And I did it. I got the audience to make the noise. It's a trick. It's a trick joke where I bring up a subject matter, then I get the audience to react to it.
Yeah.
And they did. Here's the hard part of this. It was 11:35 before I went on.
At night?
Yes. The audience had been there since 6:30. So if you know, that's 5 hours.
That's crazy.
Because of filming. Almost everyone out of the 20 acts in my subgroup had gone before me. Have you ever been in an audience for 5 hours? You are hangry. You are tired. And the joke I'm doing is really smart and needs you to pay attention.
Right.
But I don't get any warm-up time with you. I don't get to do anything like that. I just have to go out, and I can't change my words because all standards and practices have...
Right. You've already gone through everything, and they've said yes to this.
They picked which jokes I was going to do. I sent them 4 different sets, and they picked this one. I wanted to do a different one about board games because it was like wholesome.
Yeah.
And... I should have saved this for the live rounds. That's my fault because I forgot they can edit things, but in the live rounds they can't.
Yeah.
So my audience manipulation joke should have been done live because then there's no way they could ever skew that. Right. So that's poor planning on me, but there's no reason they had to show it or make me look bad or play like music or show people being like sad. It's gut wrenching.
Oh yeah.
And I don't bomb.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that bad? That the way it went about, it was not the best, but the audience still got into it.
Yeah.
At one point, the audience clapped because I got them laughing.
Right.
Simon buzzed me, but I was like, "No, you guys are still liking me, right?" Like, and they were like, "Yeah," and they clapped.
Yeah.
They didn't show that part, and so it just made it look really bad, and it messed with me psychologically for such a long time. Like that really made my depression worse. And
well, it's funny too because I
care so much about it.
You care so much about
what I do.
Yeah.
So that, and I purposely like wouldn't put myself out in front of things unless I knew that it was going to paint things positively because I've been to like 600 colleges, man. Like I've done so many, like 1,000 shows and I never do a bad job. I always make it work somehow.
Right.
And that's the thing that I'm known for is always making it work. That's why they even put me on the show because they asked me to do it. But the representation of that, I don't know what I'm talking about, or the things don't make sense. Like, if you've listened to this podcast, you understand that when I speak, I have a point. Maybe I get a little distracted, but, like, you're going to understand the words I'm saying. Yeah. So to make it look like I'm incoherent or that I'm an amateur was like... Yeah. And that was in the middle of a 90-college tour. I did 90 colleges in 4 months. So I was at home 2 days in 4 months. Yeah. And then it ends with this, and it was just, like... the biggest
Isn't that weird how like after so much great stuff, one little thing
and then I had to wait I had to wait weeks to see when it aired. So then there's the waiting game.
So and you knew what happened, like you knew that they weren't
but I didn't think they were going to make it that bad.
No.
I didn't think they would cut cuz I hope they just cut the whole thing.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, but if they cut the whole thing, maybe they won't show my first round. So if they cut my second, they might be like, well, why do we present them to the audience if we're never going to show them do it again? So actually, they probably only show my first round because they want to make the second round look bad. Anyway, nothing is real. But that's why I really like the Penn and Teller show because they are there for the magicians.
They're like on behalf
They're
of it.
pro magician. This show is like pro ratings, and that's it.
Penn and Teller too. I mean, they're making money off that, but they don't need it. Like they do that to put people in their show in Vegas, like to get people to buy tickets. They do TV.
Yeah, to keep them relevant.
They do TV to keep them relevant, to keep in front of people, so that when people come to Vegas, they'll go see their show.
Yeah, well, because they're the magic experts.
They are.
And then when the magic community believes that too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's also their, you can see their appreciation for, we get what TV is and what it is for performers. So we want you to look good because you're going to use this.
Oh my God. Yeah. They make the clip so that like the audience can like,
it shows
the intro of them, their personality.
They never make someone look like an ass. Even when somebody doesn't do well or something goes wrong, they're very respectful because they understand you'll be able to cut this into something.
That's insane though.
Isn't that brilliant though? That doesn't happen anywhere else in TV.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. They don't.
That's why that's the one show right now that magicians are like, go on that. Like,
go on.
Everyone I've talked to.
Go on.
And guys who have gone on.
No.
Oh, dude,
don't do it.
I did the Gong Show. There was a not this one, but there was a resurgence when I was. Dude, we're a friggin' hour and 10 minutes already.
Yeah.
How are you? Are you okay?
No, that's always how it happens though.
It is. Man.
Like with my shows.
Yeah.
I look down and it's already over an hour.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Tonight we can't do that though.
No.
There's 5 performers.
I've been told I have 8 to 12 minutes.
Yeah. What do you want?
That's great.
No. What are you gonna do? Do you know?
I'm still trying to decide. I've got some new stuff.
Okay.
That I want to play with.
All right.
That's always the balance too. When it's like you're doing the show for the first time, it's like, do I do the stuff I know is gonna work, or do I just do the stuff that I want to work out?
Both.
Yeah, mix it up.
Like it definitely hit them with something that's gonna establish you're good at what you do, and then if you want to from there, try something newish.
Yeah.
I might not even be doing much stand up at all.
Yeah.
I might be straight hosting, which means like more playful actions. Yeah.
And not prepping stuff, like going off what just happened.
Yeah.
You do a lot of MC stuff with colleges too, right? I mean,
I would say 10% of the time an MC thing. 90%.
Do you enjoy it?
Stand-up show. Depends what it is. There's more work for MC.
It is.
With my comedy show, I could just show up, know what I'm doing, do it, and then be done. Yep. Like when I MC a talent show, I'm there for hours. I'm coordinating. I'm learning names.
And you're fixing stuff along the way because you're going like, they didn't plan this right or this.
Well, yeah, and it's also not the fault of everybody. They're not.
No, but they don't do it every day.
Right. But there was this one. It was really fun. It was like big man on campus, and there are 17 different houses.
Yeah.
All of them Native American named, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I also had to then say 17 different house names that are Native American words. So I had to pronounce them. So I was like, after the first 5, I really got the different like accents marks down, like of how to pronounce things. But I did it really well. I don't think I said any of them wrong because I would, before I go, I'm like, repeat it.
Yeah.
Repeat it. Okay. Like,
dude, that MC bit, man, like the last 3 years, 25% of my work's been MC.
Okay.
Like I do a lot of these conferences where it'll be like a Thursday to Sunday.
Where?
So like all over.
Is it only magicians?
Nope. I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Because I do a bunch of the NACA and APCA ones, you know that.
Yeah.
I got picked. Well, dude, I'm lecturing at one.
I saw that, man.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about it. I want to pick your brain about it.
Well, that'll be the Say It Anyway campaign.
Yeah. Cool.
So I will be funny in my lecture because like you're not just booking a lecture. You're booking a comedian who's going to get people in with comedy but then actually teach something.
Right.
Because people don't want to go to lectures.
No.
But if I qualify as a lecturer, they might... Well, one, it might be a different budget.
There's always more money for education.
Right. But 2, there might be classes required to go, which is so cool that there might be a badass guaranteed audience. You know, maybe what if you had every Soch 100 student at your college had to hit up my show? Like, they'd enjoy it because I'm going to be funny with it. Yeah. But then also, like, cool, we have regular general people that are students that are in the college, and then we got maybe this other 150, 200 people that are going to go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To this, like...
That's great.
Bonus, yeah. So we gotta hope for that, yeah.
Well, like you said earlier, with colleges, like you never know. Sometimes they promote it and it's 400 people, and sometimes you show up and you're in the corner of the
make it work
cafetorium with like
cafetorium, not even a cafeteria.
Not even a cafeteria.
The cafetorium. That just sounds like more sad.
It does, right?
That's at a hospital. That's the cafeteria.
Oh, dude.
Not all hospitals are bad. I was in one for reasons that were like helping a friend. Yeah. But then also somebody had a baby there. I was like, oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like the ER is always interesting.
It is, dude. We were there, my youngest was sick 3 weeks ago, and she was just
this is stories that parents share, so then you know about their kids. Anyway, go ahead.
I will
no,
stop
no,
talking.
Keep going. I want to know that. If you have kids, you better
Janice
freaking bring it
whatever.
up. No, it's not a real. I don't even know what I said. I think I said like Julia.
Yeah, there you go. This name has been changed.
Joan.
We'll do a little record scratch to take out her
Doesn't
name.
matter. It's made up. I just picked a name.
There you go, man.
Yeah. It was a J though.
It was.
Okay.
So my daughter, bro, this is something people don't. You can't prepare for having kids. You cannot. Forget all the books. None of it prepares you for anything.
You just ruined so many future babies because I just imagine people listening to
like,
podcasts just taking the books, throwing in the garbage can, grabbing a beer and walking outside.
That's right. So yeah, man, like my 9-year-old got sick, couldn't keep anything down, got dehydrated, and like, so it's like a Thursday night, and we're all hanging out having fun, and within 2 hours went from everyone's fine to we're like checked in, she's in the hospital overnight for 2 nights. Like that quick, like no warning.
Yeah.
It was awful, man.
Well, everything's fine?
Everything's fine, yeah.
Okay.
Except I got a $3,000 bill from the hospital like 2 days later.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Ooh, they did it quick.
This is another thing.
2 days later, they did it quick.
They were so fast, man. They were like, all right, we'd like the money. Entertainer thing, paying for your own insurance is always
Yeah, no, I definitely pay my own insurance, and I pay all the other things that you have to pay. Like, small business support in America.
We talk about it a lot. I haven't experienced
I have no benefits. Like, my boss pays for everything. It's me. I pay for everything. So I get to sound cool. I'm like, my boss just bought these drinks tonight.
Right.
Also, my boss is going to cry because we ordered 4 total drinks, and that was $78 with gratuity included. I know this is a hipster spot, and you're cute, but, like, that was $78 for 2 hours of hanging out with you.
You're like that's 2 bottles.
Only right now can I swing that sort of stuff. But that was like, now I feel bad. That's why I feel bad for guys in their young 20s with dating, because it's just like, you can't pull that.
It's crazy.
You can't pull that
It's
off.
so friggin' expensive.
I could pull that off now because I've been working full time for X number of years. But also, I mean, you don't always need to spend money. I like doing things that are just, it's nice to be in a position where if it does cost something, that's okay.
Right.
So like, I'm like going on a hike just as much as I like paying like a large admission to go to like a charity gala or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. That made me sound like I was really cool.
I don't know. I was like, you're going to lots of galas?
No, hell no. I've been to like 2 galas in my life.
You're right here, man. There's like everything happening right here. You are in Hollywood. Like everybody is like,
you're right. There is a lot
like,
of pressure.
I live in
Thank
LA,
you,
and then you're like, you don't live in LA.
No, I'm in the thick of it. It's weird when you see children out here because you're like, children don't belong in Hollywood.
It's like seeing children at Walmart at 11.
Oh my God, that happens so often. Yeah. Or you're like, go to Vegas and you see kids in the casino and you're like, this is not a family place. Not. What I was going to say, so the about to break concept of this is that like, I already had this established college market thing, but I've been doing it so long and it's been going so well in terms of what I'm able to do with it, but I still had to grind all the time.
Right.
So I'm at these conferences, spending 3-4 days. I usually spend, I shouldn't get into that, but a ridiculous amount of money to do 8 to 9 different conferences a year. 3 to 4 days, 2, 3 or 4 days each. And that's how I keep this booking going because I'm constantly doing it without fame or anything like that. So getting on America's Got Talent and being somebody that was more of a professional than a lot of the people on the show, because like, they make it look like everybody's brand new. And it's like, no. These people are like guaranteed professionals. Just nobody knows them yet, which is totally okay because, that's fine. You make your own rules to the show. But so I just thought maybe I'd be a little more, because I've done so much and I reach a certain age and maturity level that like they wouldn't screw me over. I'm a professional. They understand that would affect my career, and I'm not a joke. Like, I'm not somebody that walks up and, like, has no self-awareness. Right. I'm not wearing, like, several tutus on my neck and then, oh, wait, that's just Ace Ventura. But, like, I'm not that I'm not that guy going on American Idol that doesn't know that they don't know how to sing. Right. So I'm like, I'm not going to be the one to be made look bad. And then that kind of happened. But I hope everyone forgets. So I think everyone did because it's just, like, that was so psychologically damaging. You have no idea. It was ridiculous because when you don't have those other things like the family or the kids or pets and like your baby is you touring all the time and your reputation and you want just people to care and listen, and then just like it's nothing. They're like, we're just gonna make you look really bad. We're gonna edit it to make you look really bad.
It's just ridiculous.
And I'm like, you're just gonna ruin my career? Right. But the thing is, there's been so many people on that show, and because of all the different social media outlets, things go way quicker.
Yep, it's true.
So people just know that I was on the show. They just know I didn't win it.
That's the good and bad of the fact that everything's so consumable. Like,
yeah, I just want people to trust me, and that made it look like I wasn't trustworthy. And that's
your reputation is your credential.
Yeah.
That's your career as a comedian, as an entertainer, especially when you're being brought into different events. Like, that's a big deal for like an Ivy League school to go, hey, we're gonna put this guy on a microphone in front of our entire student body.
Yeah, and I get some of it though, because since I had a really good childhood, and my parents are still together. They've only dated each other. Like in the suburbs of Chicago. Like, it's really good. And you know, that's not a story.
Yeah.
It could be a story in the sense that like that's usually not the breed, the normal breeding ground for comedians.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to share all the depression I was going through. One, because I wasn't fully ready to share that all the time.
Yeah.
But then I also like didn't want to be known as that. But then I am an unsympathetic character. Like, people might like me, I might be likable, but you could shit on me if you want to.
Right.
And because I'm in my late 20s, I'm an average height, brown-haired, straight white guy. Like, you know, if you're making fun of somebody that has maybe more of an obvious physical disability,
right,
then people would be like, well, that's mean, you can never do that, which I agree with.
Right.
But, you know, it just made it easier for them.
Yeah.
Because they're like, Adam's really well put together, so
he'll be able to
he'll be okay. Yeah, that's what they were saying. Well, and I was like, what does a clip look like? Can you tell me what it's like? They're like, well, they show when they clap for you, and you know, you'll be fine. And like, then I just had to wait to see, and then they like totally wrecked it and made it look way worse. Because if you follow the joke the way that it works and the words that I say, you at home would be like, why aren't they laughing more?
Right.
But they can't have that. They need whatever. It's fine. It's frustrating when I talk about it, but other than that, I'm doing good about it. Yeah, and like, it's still a badge of honor to have done it and gone through with it. So yeah. So people are like, was it fun? And I don't want to ruin their narratives all the time. So I'm like, it was an experience, and I learned a lot. You know, like, that's
a big thing, man.
And then when they're like, I saw you on there. I got an email the other day that said, hey, sorry you lost America's Got Talent. Can you send me a signed photo? And I was like, I was just like, hey, thanks for the support. You know, that, yeah. But it's just funny to start with that. And I was like, oh, that's still kind of nice of them. So it's just a person.
It's hard, too, when being an entertainer, we tell people all the time, you're not defined by what you do. But as an entertainer, it's like, if I don't tell jokes, I'm not a comedian. If I don't do tricks, I'm not a magician. You know what I mean? So,
are you just not going to do tricks tonight?
No, I'm going to do tricks.
Okay.
I don't even. I sound so like. You just caught me on one of those days.
What? No, it's hot in here. I turned off the AC because it was loud.
No. I'm just saying, like, I have days where I kind of crap on magic. I feel like all my magician friends are gonna stop talking to me after this. But it's like,
why did you crap on magic? You didn't. All you said was that you feel like you have to do it. That's what all of my magician friends deal with all the time. Like,
yeah, it's like
they can't just say I'm a magician and then no follow up. You can't do that. You have to. You are forced to then present a deck, a chip, a trick, a thing on your phone, and you always have one lined up. You're gonna turn those 5 singles into 5 $100 bills. You've already spent the money on that trick. You're gonna do that. And I said spend the money because you need $500 in order to do that trick.
Dude.
But
holy crap. Yeah.
But you always have that ready, but you are forced to have to do that. Whereas if you're a musician, it might just be like, or other jobs, people don't demand that you do it right away.
Well, they do the same thing with comedy, right? Like, people hear you're a 100%. Comedian, they're like, tell me a joke, be funny right now, and do your job now.
No, usually I just go, no. Yeah. And then they laugh, and I'm like, haha, I did my job. Like, because unless someone's being a drunk asshole or a jerk in general for no reason, I pretty much don't get offended by that, because it's, people just don't know how to react to something.
Well, how many people meet a magician or a comedian? Right. You know what I mean? Most people are like, what do you do? I work at, wherever, at office job.
They're just excited. Yeah. They're just excited for what it is that you do. This is fun. And I want them to be able to have that.
And they want a story. I mean, people, that's what I want when I go somewhere. I want a story to tell somebody. So it's like, good times.
Okay, so.
What have we not talked about, man?
Well, Part of it is the about to break, because it is the thing that has helped me survive out here mentally.
Yeah. You've been in LA how long now?
7 months. But before that, I actually...
You've only been in LA 7 months? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I started back in other July, so it's more been like a year, but I did 3 months of a sublease, and then I was on the road for 2 months. Yeah. So I actually technically didn't have anywhere for 2 months this year. But I mean, I had my parents' house and I had other places to stay, but I was literally booked the entire time. Right. So I was technically homeless, which is funny because it just makes it like, you were technically homeless. Like, no. I just chose to not have an apartment. I just lived at
the Holiday Inn.
Because I was at different hotels every night. Right. But in order to survive here, when I first got here, I was so run, gotta do things. And I still have a lot of FOMO, but there's this pressure that I'm like, I need to go on auditions, I need to do blank, I need to do blank, I need to do this. Have I been on that show? This is another thing. Oh God, nobody knows me here. And that's really the thought that came to me, because I was like, why did I move? Why did I go through the traumatic experience of leaving your home city to come somewhere else? And over this after a year of touring, after a year of doing the Say It Anyway campaign, which is so funny because it doesn't get big social media traction, because the idea is to post realistic things that you're thinking and feeling. Yeah. And people definitely don't want to post their weak moments, which is fine. No. And I get it, though. I get it. Not everybody should want to post their weak moments. But I just want them to feel comfortable that everyone you look at that looks perfect on social media does have weak moments.
Oh, totally.
But it doesn't appear that way.
Right.
So it took that. It took a year of processing America's Got Talent. Yeah. It took a year, and then I've been on an antidepressant for 6 months.
Yeah.
And now I'm at a place where I can be like, okay, and I turned 30. So like my 29th year, I was just freaking out. Like, I gotta do it all before I'm 30. Then everyone's gonna not like me. And now it's really messed up. And I gotta talk to girls about this. Why is it that now when I'm 30, you're like 18 and like hitting on me? What is that? When I was 19 and I could have used an 18-year-old girl hitting on me? Like I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Also, not everyone's the same, and you could be very mature at 18. But it's just like I thought that things were gonna change because I got older. And in a negative way, but then I realized, people listen to me more.
Yeah.
Which also, we can get into this another time, might have the counter effect with women, which is kind of crazy to think that like at 22, things are so much offered to them, but then at 32, it's not. Like, that's a weird drop to have.
That's weird. It's almost reversed.
It is reversed, and it comes from our society, but also a little bit of our innate sexuality and, what it is that we look for. Because with men, we just pretty much need to reproduce with the most attractive things because they probably have the best genetics. And since we weren't the ones to get pregnant, we're probably like, you're symmetrical, you look pretty, you look like you could have babies because you have titties that could feed them. And then we're turned on by that. But for women, or for people that are interested in men, it tends to be more of, it's still visual, but there's a lot of how caring are you? Right. How intelligent are you? Do you provide? Do you make me laugh a bunch? Like, do I feel comfortable? And it's like, there's so many other factors that go into it. So like as I mature, I get people like me more, right? Especially in terms of dating. And then, but maybe it's not always the same. Anyway, I thought by turning 30, like, oh my God, like people are gonna look at me different for dating, and everything's gonna change, and like I'm not where my friends are at because my friends have kids, and like, you have kids and stuff, and you've already been working on that for a long time. So I freaked out a bunch, and then I turned 30, and I was like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
But those 9 years, there's studies that show age 29, 39, and 49. People make the most drastic changes, and they are statistically like 3 times as likely to cheat because of because it's the freak out for the next decade.
Like, I don't want
to. Should I be with Becky still? Like, it's that sort of thought, or it's like, no, I need to. I'm in my 30s. I can't be 40. I'm gonna get this car, and it's like different. Is this the job I really want to do?
You feel like. I mean, I'm 36, but it's like there's this pressure of like I feel career-wise right now. I feel the pressure.
Yeah, but that's because you've been working on kids for a long time, and they're grown more, and you're in your 30s because 30s tends to be like career time. That's what I heard. Like 20s is like fun time, now I'm finally doing fun time.
Yeah,
like just now. So I haven't done many shows. This summer, and I am 1,000% okay with that. I know I have a bunch of stuff booked.
That's great, man.
And I'm like...
That's healthy.
But it took a long time, and I still feel weird about things sometimes. So I'm just like, I'm allowed to be a person.
Well, see, my weird thing is not from lack of success. Like, I've had success in this market, And my fear is that I'm just going to stay in that market. Like, that I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, that's what I felt about college.
Scared to death. It's like, well, see, I'm doing corporates and going like, I don't want to be this guy. Like,
yeah, but at least you get to go home and be like, look, a wife and kids I love.
Yeah, well, yes, that is fantastic.
So you're like, I guess I'll go to that. Imagine the people working the corporate jobs that do that.
It's true, man.
But
they're doing that for 60 hours a week instead of the
putting that out there.
1 hour on a Thursday.
But no. Yeah. Wait, it's not just 1 hour. There's so much prep and travel and everything.
It's like 20 hours.
When I do a show, they're like, how long is it? I go 24 hours because every show is a travel. It is a get to. It is a do. It is a like follow up. It is a then travel to the next place. But wait, I had a really good point. But why am I building up the point before it happens? I was feeling the same thing about the college market. I was worried that I'm only gonna be doing that, and then I was like, yo, if I'm, in LA, AGT, I could have made that go far because I do have the ability. I have the repertoire of jokes, and I do see myself as a good professional and wholesome when I can be, not offensive. But I just felt like, oh my God, I'm not gonna break into anything else. And now, because I'm able to like talk about real life subject matter, I'm really okay with what I'm doing. Like people are like, but you're doing more college shows than anyone. Like you're killing it. And I'm like, yo, I've been doing it so long. I don't want to do that anymore. I feel like I might get stuck.
Yeah.
But then I realized I truly care for these young people.
Right.
Because I just like there's so much guidance that's needed in the college age, and it doesn't just come from class. And like, I don't think I'll ever get sick of that age. I don't think I'll ever get sick of people needing advice and information and perspective. I won't ever get sick of that. And
there's also like
I go to a comedy club, maybe they're just like, do that funny fart bit, and you're like, not everyone's like that. You did that voice earlier, that's why I used that voice. There's some great comedy club connoisseurs that do love intelligent types of and real subject matter.
But with colleges, there is kind of this breath of fresh air that there's a time in life when you're open to almost anything. So it's not like you're like, this is what I think about this subject, and this is what I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
part of the reason why I feel old though is because I'm at colleges all the time, because they make me feel old. They're like, oh, you're like 29? I'm like, shut your face. You will not look as good at me. You will not look as good at me. Yeah, guy. Yeah, I saw you just chug those 17 beers. Like, you are definitely not going to look as good as me. You're on the football team now, but wait till you don't work out as much as you do, and you forget that you're not going to have a coach in life telling you to do that. You're going to have to work out on your own accord.
Yes.
Sorry, not that I have anything against football players. There's that post-high school and post-college weight gain that happens for athletes because you don't have coaching.
Right.
Since I wasn't on any official teams, it's always been Adam's workouts, and like I've always had to do them.
Yep.
So
I've never been on a workout regimen. I did football in high school. I was like super healthy.
Okay.
And then I stopped high school.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
And that was I could, dude. You could have we could just have a picture of me. You could use me as an example.
No.
You could be like, here's a guy who's 6 years old.
But also, they can get away with eating all that pizza and stuff. And then a lot of my friends evolved. Like, they did eat all the pizza and, like, play too much beer pong and do all that, and now they're lawyers and stuff. Like, oh, yeah, when you see adults, I don't know how the age of the people listening to this, but when you see adults that, like, and parents that look like they're established, just know that they were fuck-ups like you. Like, at one point, they didn't know shit. They definitely did irresponsible stuff. There's just no evidence of it.
They still do. They just do it when no one else is around.
Or like, they just get to cover up. They just get to go do as I say, which I always hate. I hate to do as I say.
Yep.
Sorry.
Dude.
I get really heated about stuff.
Me too, man. Me too. That's what, dude, it's about to break. We're about to break.
Yeah, no, and I definitely did break for a while.
Yeah.
I was crying every day, like.
Oh, dude.
And while on tour.
Yeah.
I still did all the tour dates, but now I'm like, yo, I think it's okay that I'm gonna lay on a couch for a couple hours because I don't have work. Because when I work, I work. I'm like, when I go, I'm gonna be gone for a couple months, and I book my own stuff too.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's work. People don't get it, man. They just think like, oh, you're so lucky you're touring. It's like, well, yeah.
But then it's always good to hear those ears because then to hear those voices, or to whatever I was gonna say. Point is that they help you remember,
right,
that it is cool what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, about our show tonight, like, it sounds really cool that I'm talking about the variety show, the grab bag show that I'm going to do tonight that I produce at the West Side Theater in Santa Monica. But I also am, like, just nervous as to whether or not people are going to show up.
Every time, bro.
Yeah.
That's
and
how
you
it
know
is.
why?
Every time you're producing.
You know why people might not show up today? We talked about this before the podcast. It's the Game of Thrones premiere.
Yeah.
The season premiere of the last season of Game of Thrones.
Right.
I've had people I had a comedian that wanted to come through to do a set, and this person's really good and a little known, so I'm like, yeah, of course you can. And then they asked me, and then 5 hours later, like, oh wait, that's Game of Thrones, and my girlfriend's like, having this we're doing a sketch.
And part of you is like, you can watch it 2 hours later when you get home.
He had the excuse they're doing a Facebook Live sketch right after, so it was a time-sensitive thing. I know. But some people blatantly just said, no, it's the Game of Thrones premiere. I was like, God damn it.
Right.
One person said, oh, it's a Game of Thrones party I'm going to. I don't know anything about the show, but I like cooking. So I'm going to cook for them.
Jeez.
I mean, which is so wholesome.
Right.
Can't get mad at that, but it's like, damn it.
Yeah.
I once did a show at a college in Detroit, or just outside Detroit.
Yeah.
On Game 7 of, like, the playoffs for Detroit. And I don't know if you know anything about Detroit, but they love their Red Wings. So, like...
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's at, and I thought I could wait for the game to be over.
No.
Show started at 8, game started at like 7:30. And then the game even went longer in like overtime. There was like no way we could do that.
Well, and then with sports too, like I'm not a big sports guy. But they're like there's always like 12 hours of TV after the fact.
Yeah.
Of like, what happened when he did this? Well, that guy threw the ball and the other guy caught it.
Yo.
Let's watch it again.
It's so interesting how much analysis happens with sports, but sometimes it's really freeing because it's about random shit. Like it's not important
at all.
If
but they're wearing a suit, so it feels important.
No, and it is to some people though, which is very interesting because I used to really, really, really care about sports, and I still like them a lot.
Yeah.
But it's just so like when you hear somebody talking about like how they really, really did, how they like made that catch, you know, you're kind of like, oh, cool. How did you help like society? But a lot of the players themselves do a lot of philanthropy because players themselves aren't always coming from money, and I feel like there's a bit more of the sharing. Yep. Versus people that already have money, and there's a lot more of the I'm a CEO, give me a $65 million bonus or something like that.
Right.
I forgot how we got on this tangent. But it's just like, they do talk about it way too long. And I'm like, oh my God, in summer, I don't turn on ESPN ever. Because the only sport that's around is baseball right now. And if it's soccer, I'm going to watch it live. Yeah. And the highlights are quick with soccer. Oh, yeah. So, like...
Like the whole world cares about
They have nothing to talk about. They're like, hey, in 3 months, people might start training camp in football. You're like, dude, it's not a thing yet. Like, just wait until something happens. But they still want to keep the job and the viewers. But, like, sports are dead right now. They'll come back.
It'll come back.
When fantasy football starts up, that's when everyone starts caring.
I feel like if there was a comparison, comedy would be football.
Interesting.
And magic would be baseball.
Comedy would be football. Magic would be... Why?
Because
music is football. Comedy is soccer.
Okay. Comedy, soccer.
Yeah, because it's awesome, but then, like, it's really hard for people to tell the difference between someone being amazing at it or not that good at it. Because you're like, well, the score was still 2-0, and you're like, this level of play was so much different than this level of play. And music is football because music runs everything. It runs everything.
Runs the world. That's true.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing that football's like 13 games they play, something like that. And then
you shouldn't talk about it unless you know things.
I don't know anything.
16.
Bro, I'm a magician.
16.
Is it 16?
It's 17 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
16 games.
3.
1 off week. It used to be 13.
Dude.
Jerry Rice had the touchdown record for number of touchdowns in a season out of 13 games. But then, oh my God, why am I blanking on who it was? Who caught all the freaking touchdowns?
You could literally say any name, and I would be like, okay.
No, who's one of the best? He was on the Patriots when he did it.
Yeah, I can't help you, bro. I know nothing about sports.
No, and I remember when Chad Johnson went there, but that wasn't Chad Johnson that did it. Like, who beat Jerry Rice's record? Why am I blanking on this?
I know.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Point is that they ended up doing it in 16 games instead of 13 games or 14 that Jerry Rice had done, so it kind of changed what it was. But so you're kind of correct. At one point, it was 13.
I feel like when you talk about sports, my reaction is what most women feel when guys talk about magic tricks.
Oh, they'd just rather see it?
Yeah, like I'm fine. Okay, if it's happening, I'll watch it, and I'll
you
enjoy
do so much better at a bar than I do. Are you kidding me? You could walk up to any girl, and they I'd say 80% of the women would be like, "Yeah, I'll see a magic trick." I walk up to women. What do you think the percentage is that they would be like, "Yeah, I'll talk to you about deep subject matter"?
It's because the creepy magicians at the bar.
That is most of them. Yeah. No, because it's like, and then especially if somebody's had a couple of drinks, they're kind of like, "Oh my god, this is amazing," and then you show them off to your friends because it's a very show off social setting, and and then I was like, "Whoa," and then it just. That's why I love going to bars with my magician friends. I'm like, I'm not gonna do stuff, but they're gonna do it, and you guys are gonna be way too impressed by it. But
magic's a very in the moment thing, though. I feel like comedy people will go oh, and then he was talking about this and he was saying that. But magic, everyone's like, we saw this great magician. What did he do? I don't know. What was his name? I have no idea.
There's that
unmemorable past the moment.
Nah, they tend to forget comedians. I think musicians always get remembered.
It's always the musicians, man.
Well, that's because the concept of the way in which music works is you want to hear the things you already know.
It's
whereas
true. Whereas
magic
jokes,
and comedy and other stuff, you want new things.
That's so good.
Yeah.
But comedians used to be able to just have an act, dude. They did their hour for 20, 30 years.
I still do some of the jokes that it all depends. I retire them, but I soft retire them. So I don't do them regularly, but then when I hit up a new school and I feel like
something
going
happens.
wherever. Yep. But if it's a place I know I've been to 2 times in the last 2 years, and this is the 3rd year in a row, I'm doing the newer things.
That's what I was going to ask you about that with your material. Do you write
it cycles
down,
through organically?
But do you keep track because you go back to same places?
No, it's too much. It's too much. Well, so if I keep track of every type of joke that I did, what I'll do is I'll try to find somebody that was at my show the last year, and I'll be like, "Does this sound familiar? Does this sound familiar?" And I will actually ask them did I talk about this?
Yeah.
No, I will. I'll be like, "Did I talk about how horny you guys are, and then how we can combine any emotion with horny?"
Yeah.
And then I had the audience yell out different emotions, and they're like, "I think you did." And then I'll give one example, and they'll be like, "That rings a bell." I'm like, "Cool, won't do that." So that's actually some of my technique, yo. So it's interesting because I'm not so strict, but that's also because I'm not famous. So Louis C.K., he'll work on his hour, then it'll become a Netflix special, and then
it's gone.
Then then he works on the hour, then creates the hour, then practices that, then it becomes a special. It's filmed, it's edited, it's gone, and then now you're working on the new thing. If I could pick a thing, it'd probably be that to get to the point where I can officially retire some jokes and stuff.
Just to let them die.
Yeah. Or always have them just in case, but they're out there in a certain way. That would be cool. Because, people know me for Disney jokes, and I pull it out when it makes sense to, but a lot of times I don't do it because I do some shows that are 10 times better because I got so deep about what we're talking about.
Yep.
But,
and that's where it goes down to you have to read the audience. And not just, the type of audience, but what's happening in that moment.
Always address what's happening in the moment. But that's the key to life.
Yeah.
Well, that's the key to connecting with people anywhere. That's what I mean. Not the key to life, but the key to connecting with people anywhere is address what's happening in the current moment. Yo, I am not in a jokey mood right now. I've been so serious this whole time. And I'm explaining everything, and I'm just...
Dude, I love it. That's what this is, man. This is people always go, what's the format of the show?
There
is no format. Show. We turn on microphones.
People got to look me up online to be like, no, he's actually funny. You got to do
dude,
that.
It's so good. Well, dude, we're friggin' an hour and 42 minutes.
Yeah, we got to go.
I gotta go. I still have things I want to talk to you about. So
I know, but... do you want to rattle them off?
No. I mean off the.
Off here.
So where can people go and see your stuff, man? How can they get a hold of you or see what you're doing?
I'm always on the road, but it's always colleges. So definitely check the website adamgrabowski.com.
Yep.
But I would say I'm on Snapchat and Instagram.
Are those your 2 main kind of social media?
Yeah,
outlets?
I put some things on my Facebook, AG Comedy, and I'm on my Twitter, Adam Grabowski. It's mostly just Adam Grabowski. All the links are through the website, but Adam Grab. Ow, why did you grab me and then ski? But I mean, if you're going to do anything, I would say genuinely talk to some people about what is happening in their lives. And when you ask how you're doing, actually mean how you're doing. And then maybe lead by sharing something personal about yourself to get other people to open up. So that's what you could do as well. Or you could follow me on social media shit. It doesn't, whichever one you want to do. Yeah. And I got t-shirts on my website if you want to buy them. But whatever. And I have slap koozies.
You have slap koozies?
Yeah.
Like a slap bracelet?
Yeah, but it's a koozie. If it's everything.
What?
Yeah, you want to put a koozie on your wine to be classy? Hell yeah, let's slap it on.
That's rad, dude.
Yeah. It's very immature, but I like it.
It is.
It's camouflage too, so you can't see it.
Oh, dude, that's great.
No one knows.
And you're like, where'd my beer go? I don't know.
It's a tree.
I had it.
It's not. I'm not in trouble. I'm not drinking. I'm chugging a tree in public. What's wrong with that? Nature.
Right.
That's really what it says. It says.
Does it really say that?
Yeah, it says drink.
Chugging a tree.
No, it says drink what drink. This is clearly a tree.
That's
It's stupid. It's so.
Is it
stupid.
available on AdamGrabowski.com?
It is. You can actually purchase.
You can go there right now, guys.
AdamGrabowski.com. Or just come to a show and I'll have them with me.
So good.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks for doing this, man.
It was fun.
I'm gonna hit stop here, but we can keep.
You have
talking.
a distinct voice for this. I feel like.
Do I really?
Yeah, but
I
think my voice. By the way, when I get excited, it definitely changes.
Your voice changes, yes.
Yeah, because I was in talk mode.
Okay.
So now probably people probably think that like, oh, is he lying the whole time about his voice? I'm just getting loud and moving more. I was analytical.
You're
like
not
this.
a one-dimensional person. You don't have to.
No, we all are. We are only one thing. What's that? Oh, you pick up my recycling? That must be all you are as a person. I'm just kidding. People fucking do that, and I hate them so much. Like, if you treat your server or anybody that does a service for you poorly, I hate you. Like, okay, that's a strong opinion.
That was really, really
What?
harsh.
It's just like when you think you're better than the person serving you, it's just like, I want to slap you in the freaking face. Maybe you're in a better position, but like, that doesn't always mean that. Okay, but if the person's serving you shitty, I mean, people can be shitty.
Sometimes it goes the other way.
Yeah, you're
Sometimes
right.
the person's
I have
serving
had
is
that.
right.
Yes.
I had that today at In-N-Out in the drive-thru. I was getting my kids food because I'm a good father and I feed them In-N-Out. Mm-hmm. And we're in the drive-thru.
They've been constipated, so you figured you'd clear them out.
I was like, you know what? Let's flesh this thing out.
Mm-hmm. Your child was this thing. Go on.
Thing.
So you're at In-N-Out.
Yeah, the first time ever, because in In-N-Out, they kind of pride themselves on this culture of like, take care of the customer.
Yeah.
This guy was having a rough day, man.
Yeah.
He had that thing where you had to like be outside by the car, like walk to the. Why? There's a box.
To walk to the window rather than talking to it.
Why do they have to have this poor guy out in the heat?
Oh man.
But he was just like, whatever. I don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
And it really was kind of a breath of fresh air.
But you do kind of understand it. You're like, yo.
I get it, bro. I get it. Yeah.
I appreciate you being honest about this.
Yeah.
That sucks. Like, could you lean your head in? Here's some AC. Like, totally. I don't know what to do. They make you wear like an apron.
You want to ride back to the window? I can. Anyway, AdamGrabowski.com, guys.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Say it anyway.
Say it anyway.
Hashtag say it anyway.
Hashtag say it anyway. Check it out.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. Thanks for doing it.
Back to this voice.
Hey, hope you enjoyed that conversation with Adam Grabowski. Remember, be sure to go on iTunes. Give us a 5-star review if you're enjoying the program. If you're not enjoying the program, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that at all. Those reviews make a huge difference and really help people find us there on iTunes. Thanks so much to everyone who's sharing. Thanks to those of you who've been supporting on Patreon. And thank you to everyone who's been coming out to the live shows. Jokers and Aces, August 13th at Nerd Melt. Hope to see you there.